everybody. Welcome to Call to Action Live this Saturday night. Somehow we are here. I don't know how we're functioning, especially poor Alex. Oh my gosh. But we're here. And we're excited to talk.
Some way, somehow.
Somehow we managed it. We're here to talk about some Schmoedown stuff that happened. Well, mostly we're going to be speculating about next week, but we got a lot to talk about. And joining me on my right is the exhausted but beautiful Alex Mack. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you so much for that description. I appreciate that. I'm so tired. I was telling Lucas earlier, like we had a very late lunch as a result of sleeping in as late as we did, and Lucas suggested, "Hey, do you just want to like go to bed like right after Call Live?" And I was like, "Yes." That sounds amazing.
That sounds good. I'm jealous. That sounds like a good time. All right. And down below me is the stats queen herself, also had a big part of last night. Megs, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Oddly, a little more energy right now than I was expecting, but I expect a crash sometime tomorrow.
You know what? I'm here for it. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm jealous
going to try to reach us tomorrow, and we're going to be like, where is everybody? We're all passed out. We're all asleep.
I'm going to be so out of it. I have no idea what's happening. It's all a hallucination.
If you don't know what we're talking about, why we're all so tired, it's like that. We had an amazing, our first ever Last General Standing last night, brought to you mainly by the amazing Alex. And if you guys haven't watched it, go watch it. There's some pretty epic moments. There's some pretty entertaining, to say the least, moments. So I just want to talk to you real quick, Alex. Alex, how do you feel after it's finally over? You accomplished it. It was amazing. How do you feel today?
I did a countdown. Looking back, I did a countdown that said 5, 4, 3, 5, 2, 3, 1. Because I just like there was at one point where I was like, I didn't realize what was happening. Like where I just got, I don't know what happened. That and there was like Lucas showed me the white black widow situation I talked about, and I'm like, oh God, what was I high and I just didn't realize it? Like, what's going on?
You were high on deprivation of sleep.
Sleep was not the issue. I'm usually up till like 5 a.m. anyway. It's more like the active being on screen the entire time that's the issue. Like actively being on screen. I'm not just casually hanging out in the background.
Oh no. Yeah.
You hosting. You were the host the entire time.
I don't know how you did it.
Worth it though. I don't know how you did it.
I'll say I was starting to get tired by the end, and like I was trying to catch up on certain things. I was putting in numbers. I was trying to build a graphic in the background, all while trying to keep concentration on the match. And there were definitely a couple of points where in the private chat I was like, please tell me that this is the correct score, because I don't think this is right. I'm zoned out.
This is not questions I have. Front and back. Heads up. Front and back. And each of these has 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 questions apiece.
You had so many questions. We were not going to run out.
So many fucking questions. Why was I worried? I don't know.
Hey, we're all set for the next one. We just reset what we haven't used.
I did the math, and we are set for another 2 free-for-alls if they average this length.
Nice.
Speaking of length, we have a super chat. Alex and crew, you all did an amazing job, and it was very entertaining. How will you make it shorter next time? We're going to go for double time next time.
And we're probably gonna be. We'll try not to be in a situation where I'm like 5, 4, 4, 9, 12, 3, 2, 5, 1.
For the questions will help.
Yeah, there's like a handful of times where I'm just chatting with Kelsey or like you, and I'm just like, I feel like we're just like chatting, hanging out. I'm like, oh, it's been 20 seconds already. I should probably do this. Whoops. That didn't happen that crazy amount, but there happened like enough times where I was like, fuck. But
it was the first ever one. A fact that if that was like the biggest issue to happen, that is a win. Absolutely.
Yeah, there were so many other things. Just smooth transitions. everyone that I've talked to said it looks like it went off without a hitch. It's like, oh great,
Good.
we felt like we were scrambling at certain points.
Christian, where's our free for all, man? We made it look so easy.
We did a free for all.
Right.
It's up. It's not like what having like 40 something competitors. It's like what hard.
We're halfway there. Come on.
That would legit be like a 12-hour stream. Can you imagine what because the last free for all was like 44 or 42, 44, 45 competitors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like the one like Bibbs and Merle won. Oh, sorry, Merle. Yeah, they won. And so I cannot imagine. We had 25 competitors. It went on for 5 hours.
Yep.
Cannot imagine. Oh.
Yeah. It was a great night. We're all our energy's kind of low, but it's fine. We have stuff to talk about.
Yes.
So we broke down all of the matches this week on our breakdown shows. So if you did not watch those, go check them out. We had some special guests. We had great time with those. Check them out. But I just want to ask your guys' general thoughts on this week. How'd you think this week went? Were there some things that you were super surprised about that happened, or anything that you kind of like, I saw that match going that way? Starting with Megs.
So this week didn't necessarily have any surprises as far as outcomes. But it was more so the idea of how they came about. So the idea of Bibbs coming in and having the completely double 100 perfect round. And this is my level of tired. I'm trying to remember which matches we actually had this week, because it was Bibbs
Ethan Irwin
and Zipper.
Bibbs versus
Barbarian.
Yes,
that one.
Yep,
Jeff versus Paul.
Yep.
Lon versus Adam.
Yep, and Lon versus
Yep,
Adam.
Lon versus Adam. I think Lon versus Adam was the most surprising. If I could pick one that was kind of a surprise by how it ended. I'm not necessarily surprised that Adam won, but the fact that it ended up being by KO was a little shocking.
Yeah. I remember, like, what was it? We did the breakdown with both competitors, Adam Collins and Lon Harris, and which was really cool to talk about. And Lon just, went, he's like, yeah, like horror can be a real hit or miss. It's just like because there's so many horror movies, and there's a lot of gray area when it comes to horror movies, like horror thriller, supernatural horror, a lot of classic horror, things like that, monster movies. Obviously, there's a lot of gray area, and so when you get that category, you just never know what you're gonna get. It's kind of like getting dramas or
very
or anything along that. Exactly. You just don't know unless it's like a super strength. Like if you're like Bibbs or like Whitney Seibold when it comes to horror, that's one thing. But if you're like the average competitor where it's not a strength but maybe not necessarily a weakness, it's like, yeah. But those were some hard questions.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, that's definitely not a strength of mine. So I'm always impressed if anyone could do well. That category.
Are you gonna be doing anything for like Halloween, any kind of like horror movie marathon situation?
I always plan on it. I might try this year. Maybe not 31 days, but every like weekend I'm kidless, because then I can like watch scary things, just like binge some stuff.
So I thought you said that they're okay with watching like scary stuff. You watch like you've seen like torture porn and stuff with them, right? Like
my daughter's seen Scream. She loved Scream. I didn't show her the It movies. Her dad did, so that's where she saw those. I probably wouldn't have shown them because that first scene just devastates me, and I'm not a kid.
That's weird.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it depends on the movie, like the level of scariness in it. So, well, we'll see. But she did love Scream. She hasn't seen the other ones, though, just the first one.
I saw Jeepers Creepers too young. That movie scarred me. Oh, I can't do it.
Yeah. I still very hit or miss with horror movies. Like, I like it if they have a really good like story and plot or like mythology and things behind them. Like, oh, that's interesting. But if it's just killing for killing's sake, I'm like, I don't want to see people die for like no reason. I want there to be like a story behind it.
Well, I always love. I'm actually putting together a whole not for C2A. I'm helping a friend out with their horror exhibition match situation, and they asked me to put together a bunch of questions in the category of social social thriller, social horror movies.
That's probably my genre of choice.
And I kind of want to be like, well, like I can think of like movies like Get Out, Scream, that one Eli Roth movie, the one with like the torture porn one, the eye. No, I can't remember what it's called. But
not from that description, I can't figure.
Oh well, yeah, because I mean, like the thing is, having a majority of horror movies are symbolic of, social issues. Dawn of the Dead is representative of systemic racism as a result of the Cold War as well. Scream is talking about the age of technology and how humanity is adapting to it instead crime. I mean, there's a systemic racism as far as Get Out. There's a lot. Stepford Wives. Oh my gosh, I
love Stepford Wives.
Oh, same. I mean, horror movies. Almost like arguably every single horror movie is about a social issue. So it's just like. That's a hard category you're giving me. Okay, whatever. No big deal.
The chat says Hostel. Is that the one you're thinking of?
Hostel, yes. It's about immigration issues and also it's about immigration issues and about how upper middle class white men in particular really not liking minorities, especially women in particular, because you see all the people that are being tortured, they're women and or people of color. They're like the only people of color in the entire movie, the one being tortured. And who are the torturers? White men of middle age. Great.
Yep, that sounds about right.
It happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It happens.
Shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
No.
It shouldn't.
And what this one I have not seen. What time period do they set it? Is it modern times?
Or it is modern times. The movie was released, I believe, in like 2010, 2011, or something along those lines. But it's about these group of kids, or like a little bit after college, that kind of, where they through Europe, and they're somewhere in Eastern Europe, like in Estonia or something, and they end up like going to like a factory rave party situation. Only they realize they end up being drugged and like taken to this hostel, ends up being tortured to death.
Got it.
So
fascinating. Maybe I'll add that to my list. Definitely not on a kid night. I'll make sure, but
definitely
not.
That's not a kid friendly.
That's not a kid friendly one.
It's very scary. It's very scary. Oh my god.
All right. Any final thoughts on that before we move on to speculations? So we've already broke down the matches, but I figured we'd break them up a little bit.
Well, I do kind of want to talk about a little bit about Adam Collins real quickly before we're going to go to speculation. Now, Adam Collins, obviously, he's hitting the point where I feel like we can technically call him. He's not beaten yet. He's so he's 3-0. I think at that point you can say he's undefeated. If you can technically say Brett Sheridan's undefeated because he's technically at 1-0 right now, but it's a very different conversation. Let's be honest. But Adam Collins, he's kicking it. We talk about how Roka might be the one to finally put on his back foot, and that wasn't the case. Same with Lon Harris. He hasn't. We really haven't seen Adam Collins be challenged yet. So it's only a matter of time. When is the match that he's really going to be challenged? So it's definitely a conversation for the year at this point.
Well, and even having to answer anything in round 3, he's either TKO'd or KO'd every competitor. So he has never had to go to his 3-round questions. So that, based on his performance, I don't doubt that he will do well. But that's just another level of the gamesmanship and another level of the stress of the game that he hasn't had to deal with yet.
Yeah, we've seen him do quite a few steals though. On several different categories. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how he's managed to get his TKOs and KOs is mostly off of steals.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I'm very interested in. I'm sure he's going to do awesome, but I want to see him do round 3 questions. I feel like like the final tick he needs on the list of reasons why he's going to be probably Rookie of the Year at this point. But I just want to see it. You know what I mean? So people can stop doubting.
Yeah. I cannot wait for him to potentially go up against Bibbs, LaShannon Miller, or Brendan Meyer. Oh my gosh.
Those would be great. Those would be really
good.
All right. And we did get a super chat in from Will Watson. 3 smart and powerful women on screen. That event was awesome. Alex, you are Saint Ingenious for writing all those questions.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a lot, but definitely worth it. That's for sure.
Yep.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But yeah, Adam Collins is brilliant. I am super excited to see where he goes. Okay, the match in my brain, I would love to see any of those guys on the finals, but just the idea of Bibbs and Collins, I just think would be just fantastic. I think their vibe would be interesting against one another. Their knowledge level would be interested against one another. That would be really good.
Yeah. Very interesting to say.
I'm scared to see what's going to happen. Yeah. Speaking of Halloween and scary movies, have you seen the new upcoming match?
Who needs horror when you can watch these scary Schmoedown matches? We're literally sitting there like
edge of your seat.
Edge of your seat.
What's going to happen?
Oh my gosh. Hashtag the horror of Schmoedown. Let's get that going.
There have been moments that I was nervous.
Yep. Absolutely. Schmoedown could bring that out of you.
Are there any matches for you overall, Megs, that have really, I don't want to say proven your stats wrong, but that really surprised you based on stats?
As far as this tournament so far, probably really gonna define only because there wasn't that much.
Was it you were frozen there for a bit?
Cut out a little bit.
Okay, am I back? So
Yeah,
the two that I could think of that were a little bit surprising was Perry Kalinowski, but Kalinowski has also had those off days on his records before, so that wasn't totally out of the ordinary. Probably actually LaShannon Miller and Ellison were a little bit shocking, only because of it was breaking a streak. The chance was on. But even then, that's still Liz. I've always touted her as a one run away from being top tier. So this entire bracket has just been completely stacked. At all.
It's been the year of upsets, though. It really has.
I mean, Collins and Roca.
Upsets.
Collins and Roca. Collins versus Roca was definitely. I didn't expect it to end that way. I think that's more the thing. I don't think the outcomes are necessarily shocking me as much as maybe how it happened. But that's not always something that you can necessarily control through looking at somebody's stats, because a wheel round or a set of questions can sink you, definitely. So I don't necessarily have a great answer for that. That was an interesting one.
I try, girl. I try. Okay.
You do.
Trying to stump you.
And we have another super chat that came in from Lando. Hi, Larry. Barbarian May had the worst game that ended up in a loss in the singles tournament. By the way, y'all 3 are great. PLD sucks. Rest in peace, Peachy Short.
Those shorts. That was such a big tear. It was like the tear was like this big. I felt so bad for those shorts. Oh man, yeah. I felt really. Oh, say by the way, Larry, it's like I'm glad you're feeling better after everything that you've been through over the past several weeks. Yeah. You've been feeling really, physically not great. So I'm glad you're feeling a million times better. By the way.
So, we got another super chat. When I was little, Unbreakable scared me because I had a fear of falling downstairs. So that scene.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, but I could see that. Scares are scary when you're a kid because, like, I fell down my fair share of stairs because I'm a klutz.
Especially wooden stairs because they're kind of slippery. Especially if you're wearing socks or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
there's these wooden stairs at my work, and they're kind of steep. And like the running joke is one of these days somebody's gonna fall down them because they're just like it was a horrible design in a very modern building. So it's not that. One day.
Did you know the average space between stairs? The average height of a stair actually varies like country to country. I know that's kind of like a random little thing, but the thing is in countries like the Netherlands or with cities like Amsterdam, you're taxed by the length of your house. So they try to make their houses tall but very slim. So if you that's why they're all jam packed together. But there are like 4 levels to a house kind of situation, and everything's very long. So that's because of the tax reasons. But as a result, so their steps are like 2 inches higher than ours on average. So it's like crazy steep compared to us.
It's like a full length workout to get up the stairs.
Who needs the gym when you got some Norwegian stairs,
Right. I've seen a lot of those like House Hunters Internationals and stuff, and they've showed those houses. I've always noticed that the stairs are steep and the buildings are so narrow and tall. I never knew that was why. Learn something new every day.
Fun fact for you.
Fun fact. Oh, and we have another super chat from Mukbang Reviews. Great work and questions last night. It was hard to turn away. Lucas's pantless exit was hilarious, and it was nice seeing Ben and Drew. PLD sucks.
Yes.
Fewer words cannot be spoken.
There were a couple moments that we were all broken during that night.
Okay, back to that match. I have a question for you real quick. Yeah. Everyone is very anti-PLD winning. Lots of PLD sucks. Is PLD a heel? Nobody's happy he won.
Yeah, but I don't think he's necessarily a heel. He's just like I don't know. There's not really any heel behavior going on. It's just I think we just know who he is realistically as a person. So our natural inclination is for him to go, PLD sucks, for obvious reasons. But he's not actually doing anything on camera per se that is heel behavior.
Fair. Oh, I'm so tired. Okay, any other thoughts on the match before we move on to speculations?
I don't know, honestly. I think that's it.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Also, I don't know if I'm not sure if I said this at the beginning of the show. This is going to be a shorter episode because starting at 8 Pacific time, there is something happening. Mr. Tom Dagnito, aka Bobby Gucci's birthday party. So we all know you guys want to be there. We want to be there. So we're going to try to make this a very short and sweet episode so you guys have time to go to the festivities. So let's move on to the speculations, and let's start with this is what's happening next week. October 1st, or on Monday or Tuesday if you're a patron, we have Liz Shannon Miller from Swag versus William Bibiani from the Quirky Mercs. And then that following October 2nd, we have Jeff Snyder from the Rockstars versus Mark Riley from the Finstock Exchange. So I'm so happy it's 2 matches a week. Just start.
Wait, are we not getting? So we're not getting matches until like next Thursday.
Patrons get them earlier.
Say, if you're Patreon, you get them earlier, but they won't drop publicly until end of the week. What are we gonna do, Alex? What are we gonna do with our life? It's been so driven by all these matches, right?
That's gonna make it awkward because I don't know what day of the week it is unless I have a match to tell me what day of the week it is. So
that's true. Yeah,
that's so true.
Lucas and I literally had a conversation where we fought over what day of the week it was, and we were both wrong. So
that's a level.
That was a Wednesday. I argued it was a Monday. He said it was a Tuesday. It was a Wednesday.
Ooh. I mean, it would have been something to be like for you to say Monday, he say Wednesday, and it was Tuesday. You were just off one, but no, just completely missing a couple days.
Yeah.
If I don't have my Schmoedown matches to tell me, I'm not gonna know. Yeah. It's the truth.
The Schmoedown calendar coming out for 2021.
It guides my soul. It guides everything that I do.
Doesn't it? Yes.
All right. Well, starting with the first match next week, which was Miller versus Bibiani, I want to hear your guys' predictions and thoughts. Starting with Megs, who do you got winning this, or what are you expecting to see?
So I believe I am expecting Bibiani to win, but I think Lashana Miller is going to make him fight for it. She had a little bit of a not uncharacteristically bad, but that match in particular with her and Chance was a very interesting one to look at stats wise because she technically answered less questions, but because she answered her 5, she was able to pull it out. So that type of performance makes it a little wary of how she's going to do when Bibiani just showed us he could do all the potential points in a match. Perfect across the board, no matter what. So I am expecting Bibiani to win, but I want Liz to make him fight for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And Alex, what are your thoughts?
If Bibbs is going to lose to anyone, it's going to be Liz. I also think that they're both very similar as far as strengths go. I was listening to an episode of Critically Acclaimed just last week, and a fan sent him a letter being like, if Whitney or Bibbs were to die or something mysteriously so, and you had to invite someone else to come in and take their place temporarily, who would you have? And Bibbs was like, 100%, I would want Liz Shannon Miller to take my place because we have a lot of similar. We have she has a really great, taste and opinions. She has a really great diverse knowledge, blah blah blah, and everything. But he's worked with her before. But the way he talks about her, they kind of have both not the same opinions per se, but they both have a very similar set of strengths and weaknesses. The thing is, I don't know what those weaknesses are.
Right.
To be completely honest, I haven't seen them yet. Let's be honest.
I feel like there may be a couple, but they're not significant enough to make me super nervous about anything that he pulls on a wheel. So
yeah, bonkers. Like, how does that happen? Yeah, but also Liz. I mean, she's amazing. So
right, absolutely.
She's also underrated competitor. Oh my gosh, she's gonna be huge steal from the draft. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. And I think I agree with you guys. I love Liz. And I think she is one of the strongest competitors. She is fantastic. I adore her. If someone could beat Bibbs, I totally see her doing it. So if she did win, I would not be surprised. I'd be like, Liz won. That's awesome. I'm so proud of her. Go swag, drip, drip. But Bibiani, he's just on fire. I mean, he's always on fire, but I feel like right now he's just got that extra momentum with these perfect games. He's just doing so well with Shazam and in singles. I just see him as being unbeatable right now. I would be very hard-pressed to think of anyone beating him at this moment. So I have Bibbs winning, but I would not be surprised if Liz did.
Mm-hmm. I do think that Bibbs, he really found himself as a singles competitor through this season. Well, last season in particular, actually. I think he just regained his confidence. His mindset surrounding Schmoedown has changed significantly. He said out of nowhere, not so much out of nowhere, he had a conversation with Roka or Christian or his wife or someone awesome. And that pretty much kind of helped him put in perspective a little bit. And ever since then, he's really just done nothing but really kick some tuchus. So, it's really amazing to see him bounce back and be so fantastic this season. It's just the year of Bibbs. It really has been.
And the fact that he now has Koi in his corner and the whole faction, you can see in the way he interacts on the interviews that he is really liking this camaraderie that he now has. Because he's never been on a faction per se where he has shown that level of engagement with it. He's always excited to be in it, but he hasn't been around the right people per se that have really latched on to the same ideas as him.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I think this has been him being on Corky Works has been one of the best things for him this year.
Absolutely. I do think that it really goes to show at the end of the day is that it really highlighted him, that little conversation that, Bibbs I started my morning off really, really weird. I was in a really bad mindset and I talked to Koi for 5 minutes and I was completely turned around. I was confident going into the match. And the way he kind of talked about it, he almost looked like him and Koi looked like he was tearing up a little bit. I was like, he was his eyes were super red and everything. Yeah. I don't know if it's because he was just I know Koi's like a Superman kind of guy. He runs marathons and stuff, but he's very vocal about how he genuinely has really great one-on-one relationships with each of his competitors. And, I would really be hesitant to think what Bibbs would be like with someone like Finstock, or, that would be an interesting combination.
No, please don't.
With Koi, it's perfect. It's close with Koi. But with someone like Finstock or Shannon.
I feel like Shannon, in the way she is constantly engaging with her competitors, is very similar to Koi's, but their end game is a little bit different because Shannon has such that edge to her that she kind of pushes towards that little bit more of the heel mentality, more of the, I'm going to engage with you, but, go get them. Where Koi is a bit more upbeat, which fits more with Bibbs' style, because Bibiani tried going heel for a while and it didn't work. So I think, while I think Shannon would work well with him, I think the overall vibe that Shannon brings to the Schmoedown would not blend well with where Bibiani's at.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of managers, we have a question from the chat. Who is the manager of the year? Ooh. I think a couple of managers we just talked about are very good contenders for that, but I think it's going to depend on how the year ends. I really do. I do think it's kind of between the same people, but I think it depends on Spectacular. I think Spectacular is going to decide who is manager of the year, like what happens there.
Yeah, I say like Koi, Winston, Shannon, Finstock are the 4 front runners at this point.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So my vote is, I just love what Shannon's been doing. I love her character work. I love what she's done with her teams and her faction overall. So currently, that's who my energy is being pushed forward. But that could totally change by the end of the year. Like I said, we'll see how Spectacular goes. Like, man, if Shazam beats everybody and kicks butt, and Koi is just on top of the world, he very well could take it. It could go anyway, really.
Yeah, I totally agree. Shannon has really been a solid, a very consistent, really great manager throughout the season so far. And we have to remember that when it comes to, picking managers, about manager of the year, that kind of thing, it comes down to, it's a popularity contest, to be completely honest. It's a lot of it's recency bias, who ended the season on the best note. So, So we can talk about, Winston won the Star Wars, tournament and all that good stuff. However, Shannon also won Inner Geekdom, which had more competitors. And also, hypothetically, she also had, Corruption, get the belt, and, if they defend the belt, oh my gosh, and, the thing is, and what if Adam suddenly beats Bibbs? Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Oh. And if we don't know, there's a lot of things that are going to be considered for sure.
Yeah, it could be all. And back to Winston and Star Wars. I mean, if Ace can beat Alex Damon and get the belt and be the first person to finally defeat him and get that belt from him, I feel like it's almost like a sealed deal for Winston. I mean, it really. But then who knows what happens?
But then also Chandru has to defend for IG.
That's true. That's true. I forgot about that. Absolutely. Yeah, so that's two. Yeah, that's two. One belt defense and a Star Wars belt. I forgot about the IG. You're totally right, Kelsey. Yeah, so that is definitely in the conversation for sure. Yep. You have to. Yeah. We're gonna have to see. Oh, poor Finstock. He's not even in the conversation anymore.
He's still in the conversation. I think it depends on the. Yeah. I think he is. He is one of my favorite managers. But again,
we're not talking about our favorite manager. It's not talking about the conversation.
For what he does is
we don't want to disparage Gucci on this special day. So let's
yes, it's also his birthday. So we are not Gucci, I think you're an amazing manager. Just a heads up.
But he now has legit competition, so
that's the thing.
Let's see how he does.
I think Gucci was the first great manager.
Yeah.
Thing is, he has so much more competition now, where we expect managers to be on his level. all the time now. And so it's just like, it's just, it comes down to different styles and everything. And again, it's a popularity contest. Who knows? He might end up like walking away with all the points this season. So
he might.
Yep. We'll just have to wait and see. Oh, this season's been wild. It's Absolutely. I mean, not only because of the world as it is right now and have to do online matches, but just the whole new change, the new era has definitely made Schmoedown have so many more levels we have to consider and things like that for Manager of the Year. Because like points, I mean, like maybe the deciding factor is whoever has the most points that people are just going to assume, well, they clearly are the best manager, so they should, you know what I mean? Like there's so many determining factors that can affect that. So
absolutely.
All right, and then talk about the second match. If you have any other thoughts on the other one, we have Snyder versus Riley on Friday.
This one is interesting.
Yeah.
Because my heart says I want Riley to win, but things are going to have to go his way for him to knock Snyder off this high that he's on right now. Because he is on a terror these past two matches, which is definitely a testament to how good of a player he is. He gets knocked down a lot for some things that's gone on during other matches, but he's solid. He's pretty solid in general.
Yep. Yeah, this match to me is, I feel like it could really go either way. It depends on it really depends on Riley. I think what Riley brings to the match. I think Snyder's been pretty consistent with his gameplay. He's been very, like you said, on a high. He's been doing an amazing job. He's got that self-confidence back, and he's doing awesome. Riley, I think his headspace kind of matters right now, especially since, some things have gone recently in matches, like with who's the boss, things like that. And then what he pulls. I think it'd be totally awesome and totally plausible for Riley to win, but I do suspect Snyder's going to win. He's kind of who I think is going to do it.
Gotcha.
I am very surprised that I would be very surprised if Riley turns out to be the real rock star of the Finstock Exchange. And also Riley, he's been doing fantastic this season. And as a singles competitor, he is technically he's played so many matches as a singles competitor this season, and he's undefeated this season, just to clarify. And because he's played like 4 matches, I want to say. The thing is, I do think he has a lot, he has his headspace very much matters. I wonder if he's going to be, the casual, hanging out self like he was with Perry, or he's going to pull out the Superman jacket, like he does with Who's the Boss. I do think he's going to pull out the Superman jacket, like he did with the teams. I don't think it's going to work out for him. I do think that he's going to be very chill. He's going to have a glass of wine and everything ready to go, and his headspace has to be in the right place in order for him to win, because Jeff is aggressive right now.
Right now?
He is aggressive.
Just an aggressive person.
That's incredibly true. He is. But when it comes, like right now in particular, I don't want to say it, I do feel like he's in a very similar situation. For him, it's also very much about headspace. And also, he won by that match against Oyama by the skin of his teeth. It was a great match. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And that was it. Yeah, it was a great match overall. It's definitely one of the better matches I remember from what I remember this season overall. But I do think that honestly, Snyder has the win. If he, like you said, Megs, there has to be a few things that kind of go wrong for Snyder in order for Riley to, I don't want to say win, but for Riley to definitely get the leg up for sure. It's Snyder's game to lose.
Yeah, based on how they're performing thus far, I would say that's the general consensus there. And something interesting to kind of note, I was looking at kind of where the factions are standing as far as who's got people left in there. The only team of the four competitors we have going, Viviani is the only person that has a faction that has 2 people still in the tournament. Everyone else, this is their last person. Riley's their last one for Finstock Exchange. Snyder's the last one in for the Rockstars, and Lishikar is the last one in for Swag. So it's do or die for them for those 3 factions at this point for this week.
Yeah, I have no clue. it's going to come down to it. Again, it's also only going to be this, but I think this is going to be the last matches for a lot of competitors. Like, this is the last match that we're going to see, potentially the last match for like Liz Shannon Miller and for not Adam Collins, but for
Riley.
Some other competitors, Riley as well. And, so it's just that. So, I definitely think it's because I know we are not going to see, much more of them after the singles match. I kind of want them to win as a result. Just because I'm like Brendan Meyer. I know I'm going to see you for the rest of the season. So like, I'm fine with you losing hypothetically. Like, I don't want you to lose, but at the same time, I kind of want you to lose. Like, you feel me? That's just because I know I'm going to get more of you later, but I'm not going to get more of this person, so yeah.
Fair. All right, we do have another super chat from Mukbang Reviews. What do you make of the curious case called Tom? I love his character and knowledge, but so weird, lol. # Team Alex, PS Snyder wins. Probably, we'll see. We'll see if he wins. I kind of think so, but I love Riley, and I know he's totally capable of pulling the win, so. But yeah,
who's
Tom?
Tom versus Erwin.
Yes.
That's who he's going to play against, right?
Yes, correct, on the 9th. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oof.
It's Erwin. Like 100% Erwin. Right?
I'm thinking yes. I'm thinking Erwin's got the momentum and the consistency right now to pull it off. But Tom's still an enigma to me when it comes to singles. Because I think that's because of his character. I can't quite tell if anything does rattle him because he keeps everything so close to the vest. I could say there's chinks in the armor, but then it's like I haven't quite figured out what to make of Tom yet.
Yeah, Tom is a. Go ahead.
Oh, I would say as a resident stats queen, what do you need? How many matches or like how much more stats do you need before you get comfortable enough to make like a really accurate description of a competitor when it comes to like seeing so many matches or overall?
Usually I like to see like a solid tournament run. So like when I see where he ends up after this tournament, that usually gives me a pretty good idea. And also because it's slightly different because the only time I had seen him prior to this was on a team with Videodrew. And kind of knowing a little bit of what the dynamic was for that, now seeing how much of that translates into singles kind of adds a layer to that where like I can say, well, I know how he did in teams. How does it differ from how he's doing in singles right now? So that's kind of another layer of analysis that I have to consider.
Gotcha. So like maybe like 4 matches then approximately?
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking because he had that match with Tom and Paul. And then now we're seeing him here in this tournament. So I think by the time he's done with this tournament run, because this will have given me 3 matches, I think I'll have a little better grasp on how I see him going forward.
That's fair. Yeah.
All right. Real quick. There's somebody hiding behind the scenes spying on us, so I figured why not invite them to come on screen so they're not being all, creepster in the background. It's PLD.
It's me.
Current champion of the last
No, they are still being a creepster in the background. Let's be honest.
I always crash in a ladies' night whenever I can. That's my job.
Why? I don't. No.
You can't stop me. I'm unstoppable. I'm like the train and unstoppable, like Ben said. Come on, guys.
All right. Well,
what are we talking about?
Real quick, I'm going to say my thoughts on Tom. First of all, speaking of his character work, I feel like he's one of the best character works in the league. At least definitely one of the top ones. If you want to hear more about our thoughts on Tom and his character work, watch As the Wheel Turns. It's our new show that we have where we talk about kayfabe and storylines of the Schmoedown. We kind of branch into matches a little bit, but the focus is supposed to be character and storylines. We go into a thing about Tom and his work and our opinions on it. So check that out if you haven't checked it out yet.
That was a fun show.
it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. We have people from other channels come on, and it was a fantastic, and I can't wait to do another one. It was great. But I think he is a totally awesome competitor, great character, solid player. But we're talking about Irwin.
Irwin.
It's Irwin, so I have him having the win because it's just I can't imagine anything else happening. To be perfectly honest. What are your thoughts, PLD?
Irwin
Tom versus Irwin.
Okay, well, my thoughts are this: that Irwin is. I can't say. I want to say beast, but unless Bibiani, but he's so on fire. I get surprised every time he loses. So I think that Tom is great. I think Tom has a great knowledge. I think that Irwin is just a little bit better at this point still. It would shock me if Tom won. Not shock's the wrong word. It could happen. It wouldn't be the hugest upset in the world, but I got my money on Irwin.
Yeah, I think it's a consensus. So we're prepared to be surprised because.
Yeah, I mean, again, I could see Tom doing it, but again, like for some reason, I haven't gotten. He hasn't quite sold me yet he's a guarantee in any match. I don't know quite what it is that hasn't quite pushed me over the edge on that. But I feel like I maybe should be, but there's a piece in there that's missing that I haven't quite identified.
I do think that if he was part of a different faction, I wonder if it would be a better fit. I don't feel like he fits as efficiently as he should be in the den. Thing is, I think Kate, she's still learning about managing, and I think she's a great manager right now, but she has made a few mistakes. And one of them was very recent, and her match with Tom. So it was just be like, where like Tommy wanted to be like, hey, I want to challenge this. And as a result of typing, I want to challenge this, he got distracted and he wasn't able to answer a question. So he wasn't able to get a perfect round, which would give him a bonus question because he was trying to do that. And she maybe she was distracted. She didn't read it. She didn't catch it, whatever it might be. But, she, as a result though, she's still learning as a manager, I kind of wonder if he had like Finstock. I have said what I said earlier about the guy, but you cannot deny the man is on top of it when it comes to challenges. Same for Shannon and Winston. And so I think that's like one of the really great things that really sets him apart. Sam, I haven't really seen him with challenges all that much. I only
the Star Wars several.
Yeah.
He's backed off a lot.
Yeah.
I
don't like when I think of challenges from that one, I think of the Finstock and I think of Winston. I don't remember Sam Levine all that much with Molly.
They're there.
I'm sure. I just don't remember them off the top of my head.
He's cooled off on it as the year has gone on, but he came out hot and strong on that.
With the challenge.
Yeah, I totally believe you. I don't even like that. That was like 6 months ago, guys. Remember that?
Oh, I know.
It feels like it was 6 months ago at least. So, I mean, like it's so it's just been a bit since I've really kind of seen him in action do that. But I do think that I kind of wonder what Tom would be like as a competitor if he would have a better percentages or whatever it might be if he was with someone like Winston, honestly. And you see some of these other managers doing some low-key recruiting. So,
Yeah, Kate's strength is definitely more in the before and after the match, not in the match. There's different kind of managers that need the in the match training.
Yes,
that's not
100%. Yeah.
And Tom is someone, especially with this character, that needs someone in match. Someone like a Bateman, for example, doesn't need an in-match manager for the most part because he's going to do it all himself. But someone like Tom does. So.
Exactly.
Absolutely. All right. Any final thoughts on that before we move on to the other match we have starting next week, which is Adam Collins versus Brendan Meyer, which is probably my most anticipated of all these matches. I am super excited for that one.
And no, I'm good to jump into that one.
Okay, cool. So Megs, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on that?
So Collins' record so far is speaking for himself that he is on a roll. However, I can see Meyer being someone that could give him that challenge that he hasn't had yet. As we were talking about before, pushing him to get into that round fives or the 5-pointer, 2-pointer, 3-pointer, round 3 situation. I don't know. Meyer's been a little bit touch and go for me in general, but I definitely see him as kicking into different gears every match. So this could be the next point where he's gonna kick into that next gear and move forward. It's hard for me to go against Collins just based on how he's been so far, but any given day, I think it could happen.
I would say it's interesting. In the past couple days, I've seen on the Facebook group and things. It seems like Collins has split a lot of people into side A and side B. Side A are the people who are declaring him the next champion, the winner of the tournament. He's the greatest thing. He's the rookie of the year. Everything. There's the other side that was kind of where I was at first, although I haven't gotten as far as some of the people I think that say well, he hasn't had a super duper challenge yet in terms of he's never faced any. Never faced any adversity. He hasn't even been in round 3. He hasn't answered a round 3 question yet.
Right. No.
So that to me, it says right there, how can you crown him when you don't see where he's faced? I mean, he was supposed to have that challenge against Roca because John Roca's, he's one of the legends of the game. But John Roca got punched in the mouth and never was able to recover. So Collins never had that even challenge there. So even if Roca is a great player, he didn't have a great player game to challenge Collins. Andre Scalgos, great guy. Just wasn't a great match for the first time, and it happens. And then again, his match, and then Collins matching out. He's just with Lon, the inconsistent Lon showed up again, and again, it was kind of a situation where Collins punched him in the mouth. Now you can't decry Collins for that because Collins can only answer the questions that are put in front of him. It's not his fault. It's the fact that he hasn't got to the third round is because he's
poor Adam. Doing too good in the second round.
Exactly. So
people aren't on his level yet. That's literally the conversations around Adam right now.
Right.
You're doing too good in this round so far.
Exactly. So I'm definitely somewhere in the middle in terms of I agree. I'd like to see what he does with a round 3. I'd like to see him get some adversity and see how he responds. But you can't really knock what he's done at all. So he's definitely potential rookie of the year. If this keeps up a few more wins, if he wins the tournament or if he does really well in the team tournament, he's already made his mark in the singles tournament. Even if he doesn't win anymore, he could lose his next match and he's already made his mark. If he goes from the team tournament, he could be rookie of the year easily. Right. Myers is doing well enough at this point that I feel again, like Megs just said, I think that he's the one that's going to at least take him to the third round. I don't think it's going to be TKO because Myers is too well-rounded. He's got too broad base of a knowledge. He doesn't have any really weaknesses in round 2 as far as that goes. He'll be enough to get him into round 3, and that's what I want to start seeing. I would love to see. What I'd really love to see is Collins down a point or 2 going into round 2 and see what happens then. But that hasn't happened yet. It's tough to say. Yeah. We might have to wait till the next round. I don't know. I didn't hear when you guys picked Bibbs versus Liz. I just would throw that in there. I'm still picking Bibbs at this point. That's no disrespect to Liz. I just think Bibbs is just on fire right now.
That was our
I would love to see Bibbs and Collins face each other, but I think Myers is someone who's going to give him the first real test. So
and I think similarly, Liz has a chance to give Bibbs a real test too.
Absolutely. Liz is doing well. I think Bibbs is Liz's first. I can't say first real benchmark because Chance is a great player. Let's see if she can repeat that and keep that up and see what's going on now.
Yeah,
she's definitely got a chance to be kicking into that next level. So.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely agree with you everything that you say, Paul. It just comes down to with both Lon and Adam. They go into these matches with their. I know it's cray. It's nuts. It just comes down to it's their match to lose. Mm-hmm. John Roca. It was really his match to lose to a rookie that only played one match prior, one win prior, but one match prior compared to a former single and teams champion. So, I'm obviously the psychological aspect is huge. And, Roca was not on top of his game. Lon, admittedly so, he was not on top of his game, but he just came down to it. And he's just like, I came to play. Obviously, he came to play, especially in the first round. He got 7 out of 8 points. Obviously, fantastic. Thing is, he just got the wheel really just killed him, and that can be. And he's like, it's horror. There's nothing you can do about it. That's something he's actively trying to improve on. But what are you gonna do? Right. So we also have to remember that Adam Collins has also admittedly spun almost exclusively strengths so far.
Mm-hmm.
So
he has seen him against something that he's had to check down on.
Anne Hathaway is a big strength of his. IG Intergeekdom, big strength of his. So I would be really curious to see him have an opponent's choice situation or get something that's admittedly a weakness. I'd be really kind of curious to see what would happen there.
Right. Me too.
All right, real quick. Also, we have another super chat from Jonathan Caro. Hello, had a great time last night. Salute to you, Alex, for the questions, and Megs and Kelsey for co-hosting, and Paul, Sai, great game.
Great game, Jonathan. I don't want to face you again. I'd be scared to face you, man. You're a monster. So.
Oh, gotta give PLD his dues. Good job.
It's okay. I'm gonna guarantee to make it that much more difficult for you come next time.
I'm retired. I'm not saying again.
All Suicide Squad questions. I know he doesn't like that movie.
I retired. I can't.
Also, that apparently Beauty and the Beast questions.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Beauty and the Beast got me.
All right. Well, my thoughts on this match is I think this is going to be his first real challenge. I don't think there's any way Meyer doesn't go to the third round. Just as strong of a player he is. I could see it honestly being maybe sudden death if it got to that point. It wouldn't surprise me. I may not get to that point, but I think these two competitors are both very strong. I do think I actually have Collins winning it. I love Brendan Meyer. He's one of my favorite competitors. He's so strong, but like Collins has just been scary.
Wow. He is scary. He is scary.
I'm so here for that. I am so here for that. Oh yes.
Alex wanted an upset?
No, I mean like
not
I know. I love Brendan Meyer. I love Brendan Meyer, but if I'm gonna see Collins win, I want him to win hard. I want him to win like a solid win. I don't want him to win because of a TKO situation because he never had to play on the defense, but that'd be a fun one if he won. Oh my god.
I would love to see that. I would love it. I love both competitors too, but
it'd be awesome. Yeah, so there's no one here that I can say I don't want to see win. Like I want everyone to win. It comes up to a like who's got the better shot, but on any given day. So
it's a good story for everybody. I mean, everyone has a story right now that as far as their career goes. I mean, Bibbs, you want to see him get the belt back since he's been doing so good recently. I mean, Liz, it's a great story. She's like making a name for herself. The kid is like striking on his own, doing really well. And Collins, the rookie. I mean, all these people look at it. If they win, you're like, that's good. It's a good thing for the league. It's good for them. So, I mean, you can't be unhappy if anybody wins at this point. But I think I'm leaning towards Collins too. I do think that. I do think I'm gonna have Collins. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be the first time he's gotten it, but I think that he will eke it out. That's how I go.
All right, real quick. We have another super chat from Mukbang Reviews. Congratulations, PLD. Your 17-round record may last a long time. Hashtag PLD. And I say that respectfully. Why would you invade Ladies' Night?
Because it's just what I do. It's just what I do.
We invade our space?
Yeah.
We really just need to, we just need to really just end the patriarchy here. Like we were talking about with Hostel earlier. I mean, like if we're talking about social horrors,
I'm a heel. Right? Isn't that what it is?
What's a heel?
That's right. We don't. We're on a short show tonight. We don't have time to get into that depth of conversation.
That's true.
All right, and we did get a Streamlabs as well from Canada Rocks, donated. And says, if you do this again, are you willing to help from someone who has seen movies made before 1980? LOL. But seriously, if you need help writing, let me know. And they gave his Twitter for us to contact him. So.
Oh, so Canada Rocks.
Who is that?
Canada Rocks.
Oh, nice. Noted.
It might be a bit. We're pretty tired, but we'll get
the brain neurons aren't fully firing.
That was
not on all cylinders, quite.
I'm still surviving off of last night's Red Bull. That's how we got the 5, 4, 4, 4, 5, 3, 2, 4, 2, 1. That's how we got that.
By the way, people are asking us to make a T-shirt design of that. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, Jake, 4. We need to work on that. Me and you.
Or a T-shirt of the White Black Widow.
That one I'll be with you, mate.
No, No,
I know it might come off wrong.
No, my thought process 100% makes sense. I remember her, like, it was like a whole thing because she only wore white and it was Vanessa Kirby. And it's like, I remember it was associated with like the Black Widow, but I remember being like, obviously it's not Black Widow because that's a different thing. So
Whatever
it's like,
your explanation
but
is,
it sounds wrong.
It doesn't matter your explanation. It's still something you can't make into a shirt.
And he's invading, and I don't appreciate it.
My StreamYard check.
And hi.
And that's how that works, I guess.
Weenie.
Things are going.
You're welcome.
Weenie.
This is not a call to action live without an Alex and Paul fight. So there you go.
There you go.
This is
we don't have a lot of energy for a real big scrap, so that's all you're gonna get. But
pouring on fumes right now.
I got a little bit of Jack Daniels, and that's what I'm running on right now.
I was saying earlier, like I was fairly productive today, but I fully expect tomorrow to be crash day for me.
That too, absolutely. I was not very productive today, and I don't feel like I'm going to be productive tomorrow. So that's.
Hey, I wasn't having to answer questions for 17 rounds. I was merely having to record it and keep up with it.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we are at the 1 hour mark. I did explain that we are having a shorter show today because we are trying to get ready so we can go enjoy the festivities for Tom Dagnino's birthday stream that is happening in about 20 minutes. Yes. So make sure you guys go hang out there. It's gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of cool guests. I've heard maybe possibly I might make an appearance. I don't know.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
So, that's one reason why we're cutting it short. So we're probably going to skip chat questions today, but we will make sure to get your questions next week. So let's, Alex, where can people find you?
You can find me at Real Alex Mac on Twitter. Definitely give us a follow there. I also host a show with Video Drew called Cinema Bias, where we dive into our personal biases when it comes to movies, and we watch movies that kind of challenge us, really. So this upcoming Tuesday at 10 o'clock Central, we're going to be watching To Catch a Thief, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. Somehow Video Drew has never seen this movie, and so we're going to be talking about it with her. So that's going to be a real fun time. Also, next week it's going to be an episode of Schmoedown, where we're going to have a unusual suspects theme. So it's gonna be real fun.
Very, very cool.
Nice.
All right. And Paul, where can people find you?
At Paul_Denuzio on Twitter. You can find me on Chilled Action every week on this very channel with my work wife, Danny Joy. You can also find me on Class Action on the Action Industries YouTube channel, usually weekly. We canceled this week due to things. We'll be back next week, though, and I help and produce shows. And I do have a PLD Projects YouTube channel, which mostly gets used for my live hangouts that are late night. Hopefully, I'll have some content that are a little later on, but that's me. Tomorrow we got Liz Shannon Miller on Chill, so that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so fun. All right, and Megs, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Megs_reclaimed. I am posting stats constantly as matches are coming out. It'll slow down a little bit now. Kind of a little low-key happy about that. But then you can also find me showing up on shows here on Call to Action, doing breakdown reactions, as well as coming out here on live every once in a while. So check it out, as well as the Facebook pages and the faction group pages. I also post the stats there as well.
Awesome. And you can find me at KelseyKins90 on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find my cosplay Instagram, Miss Quinkins, if that's your kind of thing. TeePublic, we've got merch, we've got masks, wear a mask. And I will see you tomorrow when I'm in the back behind the scenes on Chill to Action. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we will see you guys next time. Have a great night, y'all.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.